Good day, YouTube. This is J Money with Falling Forward Financial. Just an update here on HITI. I wanted to do the video last night, but didn't get it done, and got an alert on my phone. It ran up, and I was kind of shocked, but this is what it looks like over the past year, down over 78%. In the past 3 months, down over 26%. Here in the past month, they're in the green, 5.3%. And take a look at that. That's interesting. And here in the past week, we'll just call it 13%. Could have got in here at the 130s. I bought some in a different account in the $130, $140 range, or $1.40 range. And so I'm on my phone last night, and in regards to yesterday, had this dip here at about 2 o'clock, and then just got this alert that it just took off, so it was kind of interesting. And here's what it looks like today. So it started off at $1.60, currently at $1.57. I've talked about this one a couple times here on the channel. It's one of my favorite MJ plays. Ticker HITI. I've been covering it since it was HITIF, HITID, and now HITI here on the major exchanges, but it's a MJ stock, as you can see here, so feel free to pause and go over that. Founded in 2009, market cap of 91.81 million, so still relatively small, so lots of room to grow. High today of $1.61 and low of $1.52. 52-week high of $7.98, and it's gonna go back up there sometime. Might not be for a year or maybe two, but it's gonna hit that point again. 52-week low of $1.35. Average volume of 416,000, and volume here today of 203,000. And here's a look at their earnings. So it looks like the last one was reversed from the last 2, 3, 4. So that's why it ran up. I don't have the shares in this account anymore. They were moved to a different brokerage, but you can still see my history, so you can see where I was trying to buy at $4.31, $3.86, $3.80 back in March. And it's just round down since then, but moving on here. So high tide gains as revenue growth accelerates in Q3, and as you can see, this just came out here today. So extended Wednesday after hours gains into the pre-market trading in Wall Street that reacted to the Canadian MJ financials, which indicated accelerating top-line growth with a nearly twofold rise in revenue from last year, and just as I showed you, so it's definitely on the rise. So year-over-year rise in same stories. The revenue for the quarter jumped 98% year-over-year, 95.4 million. Expanding 89% year-over-year growth recorded in the past 2 quarters. Revenue increased 18%. The same store sales rose 18% as the company continued to benefit from the launch of the discount club model at the end of Q4 2021. So every time I've, well, not every time 100%, but more or less the times that I've covered high tide, they have positive news. They're either growing, a new store, or so on. So I try to bring out as many videos about them as I can, because there's always good positive information. So regarding the outlook, high tide remains on track to report over 400 million annual revenue run rate. So we'll see what it does for the rest of the year. High Tide reports Q3 loss tops revenue estimates, and as you can see, this was yesterday towards early evening. Came out with a quarterly loss of 0.03 per share versus the Zacks consensus of a loss of 0.7 cents. So they beat it by 4 cents. compares the loss of 11 cents per share a year ago, so quite a difference. These figures are adjusted for non-recurring items. The quarterly report represents an earnings surprise of 57.14%. Quarter ago, it was expected that the company would post a loss of 4 cents per share when it actually produced a loss of 11 cents, delivering a surprise of minus 175%. Over the last 4 quarters, the company has surpassed the consensus earnings per share estimates just once. All of that information isn't good, but it kind of drove down the price, which in turn enabled me to buy some. I'm still buying some cautiously because I bought some and then it went down, bought some more, it went down, and so then I just kept dollar cost averaging down. But I don't mind seeing these go down. I don't like to see them go down below what I bought them for, because then in turn it makes me buy more, which is fine as long as it goes up. But these are all long-term holds. That's what I'm getting at. Nobody likes to buy a stock and then see it go down. But I don't mind seeing the price stay down so I can buy some. But because, like I said, these are long-term holds for myself. But what's next? The underperformed the market so far this year. Question that comes to investors' mind is, what is next for the stock? No easy answers on the key question, but one reliable measure that can help investors address this is the company's earnings outlook. Not only does it include current consensus earnings expectations for the coming quarter, but also how these expectations have changed lately. Ahead of the earnings release, the estimate revisions trend for HITI favorable, while the magnitude and direction of the estimate revisions could change following the company's just released earnings report. And we'll go over some probably more earnings here throughout the call, as well as some ratings here towards the end. So investors should be mindful of the fact that the outlook for the industry can have a material impact on the performance of the stock as well, and items such as Zacks industry rank, and we'll go over some rankings here towards the end. Another stock from the same industry, which I've covered a couple times, and I'm totally in the red on ACB, Aurora, has yet to report results for the quarter ended on June 2022. These results are expected to be released on September 20th. So you might want to put that one on your radar as well. I should probably do an update and see what's going on with Aurora. Aurora's revenue is expected to be $39.23 million, down 12.1% from a year ago quarter. So we'll see what happens with them. HITI Q3 revenue grows. What about profit? We'll see if there's any more information in here that we have not already covered. So gross profit increased by 54% compared to $16.7 million in the same quarter last year. So quite a difference. Gross profit margin was 27% compared to 35% in the same quarter last year. Adjusted EBITDA was $4.2 million compared to $1.5 for the same quarter last year. So quite a difference in the earnings and everything on this one compared to a year ago. So correcting and replacing HITI reports third quarter, 98% increase in revenue and 10th straight quarter of positive adjusted EBITDA. So maybe we're going to be on track with this one again and see what happens, and maybe elections coming up here, midterm, will have something to give us some insight on a lot of the MJ plays as well. I'm hoping getting closer to legalization, and then these are all just probably going to skyrocket. So I don't give tax, legal, or trading advice, but I'm just trying to buy up as much as I can, especially this one where it is positive news all the time. One of my accounts, I have a cost basis of about $350, so I've been trying to lower that little by little. So, and being at these $1.40, $1.50 price per share definitely helps with that. So, and over here on Microsoft Bing, currently at $1.50 and no ratings, but it does show it as a buy. Usually it's a upside there what they project it's going to be. So, are you still buying HITI? Definitely I have been. So that was 2 months ago. It's a lot different story today. And probably about half, for a little over half of the price. Over here on StockTwits, currently at $1.50, low of $1.36, so we're still close to the 52-week low and the 52-week high of $7.98. 3+ could be, might be a couple months, but definitely a possibility. This is why there's always Wolf of Carson Street. That's awesome. This is kind of cash flow. Number of stores held by other companies will just become a number of stores HITI holds. So a lot of people follow HITI, but they don't follow it as closely as they do Hexo and Sundial. Over here on MSN Money, currently at $1.50, showing a buy rating with an upside to $7.83. So can't go wrong with HITI. Again, I don't give tax, legal, or trading advice, just stating my opinion. But I think we're gonna come back down, maybe dance around this, and might end up back at the $1.50 range by the end of the day. But who knows? Just my prediction. So. But that's all that I have on the HITI. If you have HITI, go ahead and list that in the comments along with your cost basis, any other information you'd like to share. And if you haven't smashed that like button yet, go ahead and hit that for me, as well as subscribing and hit the bell so you're notified of when the next videos drop. Again, this is J Money, Falling Forward Financial. Happy trading, happy investing, stay green. Cheers.